Alrighty, guys. It is 3:30 this Wednesday, January 22nd, and it's time to wrap it up. So we haven't really extended a whole lot, but we have extended and we're holding on to it. So that's kind of where we are going into the close of the trading day. This announcement, the AI data center kind of announcement and that big project, definitely getting some headlines and some buying interest in the market. The AI stocks are on fire. So that's holding everything together right now. You had to say that we are right up here. We're going to see a test of the highs in no time. I'm not seeing any real selling interest at all. So far, buying weakness this morning was what we talked about. So far, that didn't materialize at all. The only thing you got was really that little rundown here in the morning at 61.15. But we were looking at getting long against the 6100 or 6090s, but that never even happened. So starting off on the long side, looking to buy weakness. I'm looking for a retest of the 6150s, maybe higher. Now I'm going to be looking for the retest, but being very aware that 6150 and 60 here are going to be potential short setups. So get up in this area. It's not super well defined because it's so little volume up here, but these are the two edges I had since the last time the market was here. So I'm looking for retest of these highs. Potentially short setup setting up here, but it could be sloppy. It could be it not very well defined edges. At this point, we do have a reasonably well defined edge here at the 6130 or 6135s. We're going to have one down here at the 6120 and one down here at the 6110. So going into tomorrow's trading, you're going to buy against that edge 6120, 6110. 6100s are going to be the edges most likely going into tomorrow. But looking to buy weakness going into the overnight and see how far they can take it. Looking at its earnings season, yes, you know, the earnings are coming out from various companies. I have not checked which companies are on tap, but it's just be mindful after the market, after the close, or usually before the open, earnings usually come out, and they could be having some impacts on the market. So, but on the ES right now, we're leaning towards the long side and look to buy weakness. How far they can take it. On the bonds, the 20-year auction didn't do much. That was the 1 o'clock here. That was the 20-year auction. Since then, the market actually has been trading higher. So they're back up. They bounced the 113.10s. So starting off just flat out range bound at this point, not necessarily leaning toward the long side at this point. We have a couple of days here now. They haven't really extended a whole lot. So I'm just staying range bound at this point on the bonds, looking to fade the edges fairly equally. And in the bigger picture, we're really down here. If you look at it, really down here in this area of traction, and we got a pretty sloppy distribution right now. But it goes all the way from 110 up to the 150, 114, 115s here. So that's the range we are trading in, and I would just look at that bigger range as a range to trade in, as a range bound market. in the shorter term, just looking at the around the 113s here, plus minus for a range bound trading day. So unless we get something really moving the bond market, I think they're going to be fairly stable here right now, kind of biding its time. On the Nasdaq, I did take one more trade on the Nasdaq. I didn't do much after the first two trades. Now going into the later part of the day, I'm looking for that half-hour shift at the 3 o'clock hour. And I watched this in here up against the tab, but I wasn't short at that point. But you can see it start trying to take it higher and started failing. So I hopped on the short side. And this is typically the type of dynamic you get caught in. You hop on the long side and it just reverses on you. So I was in a short trade here, a pretty good one at that. Started going to break even. I moved my stop just before it went to break even, but it didn't actually go that far. And then it just kind of reversed back up, stopped me out, and then kind of sloppily ran it lower here. So kind of frustrating. I should have just left it, and then would have been a better option. But I touched my stop before the break-even move, so that could have been the reason I just got knocked out. But I got like $9 out of it, so I'm up $31 right now on the three run turns I have. So staying alongside on the Nasdaq, looking at this guy, we are well on our way. I don't see any reason why the Nasdaq would start falling apart right now, unless there's a cross current comment announcement or something. But at this point, we're up against this four-letter edge at the 22 100s, and that could be a short setup here. It just kind of be not be super aggressive on it, but that could be a short setup against that ledge. I'm thinking that we don't just have enough volume here to really define it that well, but definitely leaning towards the long side. Let's see how far they can take it. So looking to buy weakness. At this point, it's pretty clear they got a nice edge here at the 990. Going to be one edge a little bit higher here at the 965, 960, 65. Going to be one here at the 900. Didn't get much early weakness to buy against at all. So that's a pretty good move to the upside. So the market is liking what it's seeing. All these deals coming together and business-friendly climate and all that stuff is definitely making it changing the outlook of a lot of companies, right like that. So tells you a little bit how the how important it is to have a pro-business leadership at the top. That means the whole difference. Gold, yes, range bound, holding right at it above the 60, 61. So, I mean, I'm going to start from the long side, looking to buy against the 65s and the 60s. Rotations back up below 60s, looking for around down to 50s and range bound trading. So, starting off range bound, looking for retest to the highs, given that they haven't taken out the 60s yet. But if they can't take out the 70, well, the 73s here, chances are we probably going to be seeing a rotation back to that mean. But it looks to me like we still have a probe going on the upside here. Haven't traded gold, probably not going to trade it at this point. Just kind of watching it, unless we get some big action on it. But and oil, that's range bound. Nothing's happening on oil. That's kind of slow. But it's going to be one of those knockdown dragouts, move to the downside. When it moves, stops, goes up, back down. It's just back and forth. But net is going to be to the downside as the new energy policy starts kicking in. So at this point, I'm not trading it at range bound. I think in short side and bias to the downside at this point. All right, back to the ES, and so far we're looking at this thing as kind of holding where we left it. So news for tomorrow morning. We got at 8:30 jobless claims. You have a nat gas report at 10:30. Kansas City Fed at 11, and that's about it. Oil report at noon. That's interesting. 10 o'clock, okay, 1 o'clock we get a 10-year tips auction. So we got energy reports coming out tomorrow. So jobless claims at 8:30, 10:30 nat gas, noon we have oil report. At 11 we get the Kansas City Fed, and then at 1 o'clock we get the 10-year tips auction. So kind of mixed stuff coming out throughout the day tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. All right, so we'll wrap it there for now. So, I mean, we'll see how this whole thing starts panning out going into the close. But unless they close below the 6110s, I mean, I'm leaning long. And then same thing on the NASDAQ, that would be the 21,900. So I doubt that's going to happen, but you just never know. We've got another half hour to go. A lot of things can happen. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So 3 trades so far on the NASDAQ, up $31. That's it so far. Alrighty, guys. See you in the morning. Later.